necklace or this bracelet, Allah keeps me safe. Who does he believe keeps him safe? Allah. He doesn't say the bracelet keeps me safe. If he says the bracelet keeps me safe, he left Islam. He doesn't say the bracelet keeps me safe. He says Allah keeps me safe through it. So he took asbab, he took a sabab, he took a cause that Allah never ever allowed him to take. He took a means that Allah never allowed him to take. And that means is a means that leads him to a shirk al-akbar. For most of this is where the issue comes of lesser shirk. The one the Prophet ﷺ said, أَخْوَفُ مَا أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمْ. What I'm the most scared of you for. And he said it to who? To the Sahaba. The Sahaba who were the best of the people and the furthest away from making a partner with Allah. He said, the thing I'm scared the most for you for is lesser shirk. And from this is ar-riya. And a person might ask then, how do I keep away from ar-riya? And there are three things I'm going to mention to you. There's not only three, but I'm just going to suffice with three, inshallah. The first one is to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to keep you safe. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an ushrika bika wa ana a'lam wa astaghfiruka lima la a'lam. Oh Allah, I seek refuge with you, that I make a partner with you while I know, and I ask your forgiveness if I did something that I don't know. Number two, ask yourself why you're doing something before, during, and after the action. This is how the Sahaba used to be. Ask yourself before, why did I come to sit here to talk to you? Is it for Allah? Or is it to please the people or make the people think that he's got some knowledge, or make the people? Why did you sit down? While you're speaking, why are you speaking? Is it for Allah? And then afterwards, what you did, was it for Allah? Be critical, be hard on yourself today, and your hisab will be easy tomorrow. Be easy on yourself today, and maybe your hisab might be hard for you tomorrow. And the third thing is, wherever you can keep an ibadah secret, keep it secret. Taban, you can't keep Salatul Jama'ah secret, right? You can't pray in a private room on the side of the masjid. You have to pray with the Jama'ah. But wherever you can keep something secret, keep it secret, if you can. If you can do something without people realizing it, and it's just between you and Allah, yeah, do that. Sometimes you do things in front of people to show an example, that's okay. But don't make that the default, don't make that the standard. The standard is that everything I do it to show people. For these are from the things that bi'idhnillahi ta'ala can keep you away from that slippery slope. I can hear there's a tanbih, something to think about. It's a bit scary. Sometimes people make a mistake. When they're scared of showing off, they make a huge mistake and they stop doing the action they were doing. So for example, someone says, I used to pray my sunnah prayer, my ratiba, but I stopped doing it because I think I'm showing off. This is very dangerous. In fact, some of the ulama said it can be worse than showing off in the first place. It could be a worse sin than the sin of showing off, that you left an ibadah for the sake of the people. What should you do? Continue to do it, but push yourself and wrestle with yourself and fight with yourself for it to be for Allah. And that's why if you look at how the early generations used to be, if they feared riyah in their prayer, they would lengthen their prayer, they wouldn't shorten it. They would make it longer. And if he thinks I'm showing off, I make it longer until it's for Allah. Until it's for Allah Azza wa Jal. And I keep on pushing myself until I force myself to make it for Allah. ما عالجت شيئا أشد علي من نيتي لأنها تتقلب علي. I never wrestle with anything harder than my intention because it turns on me. Wa ikhwani, I want you to also appreciate I want you to appreciate the value of what you have, and I hope today could be something where you feel the value of the gift that Allah gave you. And I'm someone who I accepted Islam. I was not a Muslim before. I became Muslim. It's been a long time now. It's been maybe 26, 27 years, something, 26 years, something, a long time anyway. Again, sometimes when you're born into Islam, it might be the case that you don't realize the gift you have. And you might even make light of it and think it to be something small. And it is the greatest gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give to somebody. And that gift, it has two parts. The first is that Allah Azza wa Jal gives you the gift of Islam. We're going to call it Aslu at-Tawheed. Yani the fundamental, the core of it. And the second gift is that Allah guides you to be able to perfect it. In the first one, you entered Islam. And in the second one, you entered Iman as it deserves to be said. And to follow the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For Allah Azza wa Jal blessed you once by making you a Muslim, a person who worships Allah alone and doesn't make any partner with Him. And Allah blessed you again by allowing you to be from those people who practice Islam properly, try to follow the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and are striving to protect and develop and perfect that gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them. The gift of Tawheed, of pure monotheism and the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal alone. No doubt this discussion deserves a second part to it, to talk about Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we're not going to have too much time for that. Like, I will just make a point on the conditions of La ilaha illallah and the conditions of Muhammad Rasulullah to perfect, itmam al-fa'idah, so it benefits people, inshallah. As for the conditions of La ilaha illallah, as the poet said, العلم واليقين والقبول والانقياد فدر ما أقول والصدق والإخلاص والمحبة وفقك الله لما أحبه. He said knowledge and certainty and acceptance, submission, truthfulness, sincerity and love. These are the conditions of La ilaha illallah, and if you wish, you can put another one which is included in love, but you can separate it and say al-bara' min ash-shirki wa ahli, to be different and separate and disassociated from shirk and its people. For knowledge, you have to know what it means, La ilaha illallah. We discussed it today, we learned a little bit about what it means. You have to be sure of it. You can't have a doubt, right? You can't say that, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know, could be. You have to accept it and accept what it entails. So it's not just that I accept it, I accept what's the consequences of it. You have to surrender to Allah in Islam. Inna ad-deena inda Allahi al-Islam. The only religion in the sight of Allah is Islam. You have to be truthful. You're not telling a lie. You truly are truthful. It has to be only for Allah. And you have to love Allah and love what Allah loves and hate what Allah hates. Inna awthaqa ura al-iman al-hubbu lillah wal-bughdu lillah. Aw kama qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The strongest handhold of iman is loving what Allah loves and hating what Allah hates. And that means being different and separate from those people that worship others besides Allah. Now a person could ask here, does that mean that I can't, what about my neighbors, what about my colleagues? لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين. Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't stop you from those people who haven't fought you from your religion. They haven't driven you out from your homes. تَبَرُّوهُمْ وَتُقْسِطُوا إِلَيْهِمْ. That you are kind or you are good towards them and you're fair. But Allah didn't tell you to love them. Allah told you to be good to them and be kind to your neighbor. Give them, gifts and food and speak to them nicely and tell them about Islam and be fair. And you do that because of the love of Allah, not because of the love of them. So you can be a good person, you can live and be a good person around the non-Muslims. But ultimately, us and them are not on the same page. That's the reality. حَتَّى تَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ وَحْدَهُ. Until you worship Allah Azza wa Jal alone. As for, just to finish the benefit, the conditions of Muhammad as the messenger of Allah, طاعته فيما أمر وتصديقه فيما أخبر وأن لا يعبد الله إلا بما شرع. To obey him in what he commanded you to do, to believe in the truth of what he told you about, and only to worship Allah the way that he showed you how to do it. So that means to obey him in what he told you, what he forbade you from, what he, everything that he commanded us to do or not to do. To believe in what he told you about the future, about the qiyamah, about Allah, about the ghaib. And that the way you worship Allah is the way he showed you how to do it, not the way that you want to do it. And that's just to complete the benefit, just for people to take a benefit from it, inshallah. It's a beautiful topic, it's a big topic, and I think that we've done a reasonable reminder. وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind the people, because reminding people benefits the believers. Reminders benefit, right? For we got a reminder, we spoke about the purpose of our creation, we understood how it fits together, we understood the test of this life, we understood what makes Islam different, we understood the virtue of being from the people who worship Allah alone, we understood the dangers and the risks and the fear of falling into making a partner with Allah. We understood how to embrace this pure monotheism through knowledge and action and preaching and patience. We understood some of the conditions of La ilaha illallah and Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I hope that has inspired people to learn more. I hope it's inspired people to put it into practice. I hope it's inspired you to share the message of Islam with non-Muslims and with some of the Muslims who might have lost their way a little bit. And I hope it's inspired you to be patient. وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ. Worship your Lord until that which is certain, which is death. Until that which is certain comes to you. My dear brothers, I don't know how much time I will have with you, inshallah ta'ala. I hope we'll have some time, inshallah ta'ala. We'll definitely see if there's any few questions, inshallah. Apart from that, if you want to stay in touch with me, I teach in an institute called Al-Madrasatul Umariyah, but the easy way to remember it is AMAU. And the institute is you can find us on all the usual places you look for things, any social media and what have you. And inshallah ta'ala, you'll be able to keep up to date with it that way. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I wanted to see if anyone had, first of all, on the topic, then maybe if we have a little time, we could go off the topic as well. But on the topic, it would be nice to see if anyone had any questions or anything that maybe they would like some clarification about. Then you guys are welcome to ask, inshallah. As best if I know the answer, I will try. Tafaddal akhi al-kareem. So someone says, I rely upon you and Allah. It's not correct. They should say then. English is not very precise, but instead of equating the person, the problem is English is not very precise, but instead of equating the person like that, they don't mean it, of course. They don't mean to equate the person with Allah. But what they should do is they should say, thumma. So for example, they say something like, bi'awnillahi Yani by Allah's help, thumma, and then yani with your help. Or they say by the grace of Allah and then your hard work. They say bifadlillahi thumma bijuhudikum. And by Allah's grace and then because of your efforts. But they don't use the wow, so they don't make it seem like you're putting them and Allah together, like sharing between you and Allah. And that's the essence of shirk, right? Of course, the person doesn't mean it. So they're not leaving Islam, they don't mean it at all. But it's something we correct people on and we educate them about. Because the essence of shirk is to take a right from the rights of Allah and give it to someone else. That's what it really is at the end of the day. It's to take a right from Allah's rights, something that is only for Allah, and give it to someone else. So even if you accidentally say something like that, correct them. Another one that we hear a lot is people will say things like, for example, good luck. And even though, again, English is not very precise, but this kind of statement, it kind of feels like, is qadr there? It isn't there, you know. Al-hadh is fine. أن تكون ذا حظ عظيم, that Allah has given you great fortune, but like in English, you should definitely use the word Allah, because the word luck in English indicates what? Randomness, right? Like you are lucky. Oh wow, you are so lucky. Like as if it was random. Now, I get it, not everybody means it like that, and the word hadh could be used in a good way. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍ عَظِيمٍ. But in English, it's important you don't use it in a vague way where it feels like maybe you don't believe in qadr. And instead you say that you're a person, Allah has given you great fortune, or Allah has made you fortunate, or Allah has blessed you, rather than using these ambiguous words that might seem like, even if that's not the intention, they might seem like that. So these are all things that we correct people on, so that we don't even give the impression of something, even if we didn't mean it. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best.